नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्दस्स। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्दस्स। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्दस्स। इतिपिसो भगवारहं सम्मा संबुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरिसदम्म सारथि सत्ता देव मनुष्यानां बुद्धो भगवाति। नमो तस्स सम्मा संबुद्दस्स। ये च बुद्धा अतीता च ये च बुद्धा अनागता पच्युपन्ना च ये बुद्धा अहं वन्दामि सर्वदा। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेना होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमङ्गेन वन्देऽहं पादपंसो वरोत्तमं। बुद्धेयो कलितो दोषो बुद्धो कमतु तं मम। बुद्धं यावन्निब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। स्वाकातो भगवता धम्मो संदिटिको अकालिको एहि पस्सिको अपनायको पच्छथं वेदितव्यो विन्नोहीति। नमो तस्स नियायकस्य धम्मस्य। ये च धम्मा अतीता च ये च धम्मा अनागता पच्युपन्ना च ये धम्मा अहं वन्दामि सर्वदा। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं धम्मो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेना होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमंगेन वन्देऽहं धम्मं च विदुत्तमं। धम्मेयो कलितो दोषो धम्मो कमतु तं मम। धम्मं यावन्निब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयुगानि अट्टपुरुषपुग्गल एषा भगवतो सावक संगो आहुनेयो पाहुनेयो दक्किनेयो अंजलिकरणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यकेतं लोकसाति। नमो तस्स अट्ट आर्य पुग्गला महासंगसा। ये च संगा अतीता च ये च संगा अनागता पच्युपन्ना च ये संगा अहं वन्दामि सर्वदा। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं संगो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेना होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमङ्गेन वन्देऽहं संगं च विदुत्तमं। संगेयो कलितो दोषो संगो कमतु तं मम। संगं यावन्निब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। विपट्टि पटिवाहाय सब्ब संपत्ति सिद्धिया सब्ब दुःखं विनाशाय सब्ब भयं विनाशाय सब्ब रोगं विनाशाय भवे दीर्घायुकदायक सब्ब लोकं हितत्ताय परितं तं वनामहे। समन्ता चक्रवालेषु अत्र गच्छन्तु देवता सद्धम्मं मुनिराजसा सुनन्तु सग्गमोक्खदं। धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं बदन्ता धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं बदन्ता परितस्सवन कालो अयं बदन्ता। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्दस्स। महाकारुणिको नाथो हिताय सब्बपाणिन पुरेत्वा पारमी सब्बं पत्तो संबोधिमुत्तमं। ये तेन सच्चवज्जेना होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। जयन्तो बोधिया मूले सख्यानं नन्दिवर्धनो एवं मयं जयो होतु जयस्सु जयमङ्गलम्। सक्कत्वा बुद्धरतनं ओषधं उत्तमं वरं हितं देवमनुष्याणां बुद्धतेजेन स्वस्तिना। न सन्तु पद्मवा सब्बे दुःखा उपासमेन्तु मे। सक्कत्वा धम्मरतनं ओषधं उत्तमं वरं परिलाहुपशमानां धम्मतेजेन स्वस्तिना। न सन्तु पद्मवा सब्बे भया उपासमेन्तु मे। सक्कत्वा संगरतनं ओषधं उत्तमं वरं आहुनेयं पाहुनेयं संगतेजेन स्वस्तिना। न सन्तु पद्मवा सब्बे रोगा उपासमेन्तु मे। यं किञ्चिरतनं लोके विद्यते विविधा पुतु रतनं बुद्धसमं नत्ति तस्मा स्वस्ति भवन्तु मे। यं किञ्चिरतनं लोके विद्यते विविधा पुतु रतनं धम्मसमं नत्ति तस्मा स्वस्ति भवन्तु मे। यं किञ्चिरतनं लोके विद्यते विविधा पुतु रतनं संगसमं नत्ति तस्मा स्वस्ति भवन्तु मे। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेना होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं धम्मो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेना होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं संगो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु मे जय मंगल सब्बित्यो विभज्यन्तु सब्बरोगो विनश्यतु मामे भवतन्तरायो सुखी दीर्घायुको भव भवतु सब्बमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सब्बदेवता सब्बबुद्धानुभावेन सब्बधर्मानुभावेन सब्बसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सोत्ती भवन्तु मे न कतया कभूतानां पापग्रह निवारण परितस्सानुभावेन हन्तु मे उपद्रवे देवो वसातु कालेन सस्य सम्पत्ति हेतु च पीतो भवतु लोको च राजा भवतु धम्मिको यम दुन्निमित्तं अवमंगलं चायो चामनापो सकुणस्य सद्दो पापगहो दुसुपिनं अकंतं बुद्धानुभावेन विनाशमेन्तु धम्मानुभावेन विनाशमेन्तु संघानुभावेन विनाशमेन्तु आकाशता च बुम्मट्टा देवनागा महिद्दिका पुण्यन्तं अनुमोदित्वा चिरं रक्कन्तु शासनं चिरं रक्कन्तु देशनं चिरं रक्कन्तु मम परं एतावता च अम्मेहि संबतं पुण्य संपदं सब्बे देवा अनुमोदन्तु सब्बे भूता अनुमोदन्तु सब्बे सत्ता अनुमोदन्तु सब्ब संपत्ति सिद्धिया निब्बान संपत्ति सिद्धिया इदं नो न्यातिनं होतु सुखिता होन्तु न्यातयो इदं नो न्यातिनं होतु सुखिता होन्तु न्यातयो इदं नो न्यातिनं होतु सुखिता होन्तु न्यातयो सब्बे बुद्धा बलप्पाता पच्चेकानं च यं बलं अरहन्तानं च तेजेन रक्कं बन्धामि सब्बसो सब्बे धम्मा बलप्पाता अर्य सच्चनं च यं बलं धम्मचक्रस्य तेजेन रक्खं बन्धामि सब्बसु सब्बे संगा बलप्पाता विमुक्तानं च यं बलं शासनस्य तेजेन रक्खं बन्धामि सब्बसु इमिना पुण्याकम्मेन मामे बालसमागमो शतं समागमो होतु यावनिब्बानपत्तिया इदं मे पुण्याकमं आसवक्षयं वहं होतु सब्ब दुःखापमुच्यतु निब्बान संपच्चयो होतु साधु 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 so this discourse this sutra Mahajayamangala Gatha, it is just remembering the qualities of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. And this is the best Osada, Osadang Uttamangara. The best medicine is having faith in Buddha. The best medicine is having faith in Dhamma. The best medicine is having faith in Sangha. So that is the meaning of this sutra. Attime Saranam. There is no need to go refuge in any other thing other than Buddha. It encompasses everything. So why we go to refuge? People go to refuge, mountains, to trees, to temples, to so many places, gurus and then godmen. All these people, they somehow they think that they get protection and say concern, grace from these places, these people, these say symbols, many symbols also. People take protection, refuge in some symbols, some kind of, they create some kind of symbols in their mind and they think that those symbols will protect them. That way people take protection or seek refuge in so many things, in expecting something, anticipating something, maybe health, maybe wealth, maybe say relation, or maybe power. So many things, people, they want so many things. So anticipating that we will get all these things, people go to refuge for all these different things. But Buddha insists, there's no need to take refuge in all these things. You take refuge in Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. It encompasses everything. Whatever you have to get as a person, as a, say, whether you're a poor man, or rich man, or say man or woman, young or old, And whatever may be your expectations, whether it is health or success or say wealth, whatever is your expectation, it will be taken care of if you go refuge to these three ratanas, three gems, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Because this very path of liberation, which is very much highlighted in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, that itself is a great protection that will protect your mind, protect your body, protect your living, protect your protect your survival. Very survival is protected when you follow this different right views that are being given by Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So once people developing right views, transcending their mind, and then liberating their mind, purifying their mind, understanding their mind, then automatically whatever the person wants, like all these non-view, these wrong view people, they go for protection, go for refuge, for so many things. All those things, the people with right view, the people who take refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, they will also get. That is what is the assurance. That is what is this sutra also, this Mahajaya Mangala Gatha. It's a Gatha. Of course, Gatha means like in a poetic way, you can sing this. So that is what is considered as Gatha. So this Gatha also, it gives assurance. It says that it is Osadang Uttamanga, the best medicine is Buddha. The best medicine is taking refuge in Buddha. The best medicine is taking refuge in Dhamma and Sangha. In that way, so understand this blindly, they no need to take refuge. Understand the importance of this. Refuge means like say, yes, this is my way of living. I just surrendered to this way of living. There is no need of any other disturbance in my mind. There is no other confusion in my mind. There is no other second thought in my mind. So this seems to be absolutely perfect for my health, for my progress, for my success. I just take up this path without any doubt, without any ambiguity in my mind. So that kind of determined idea in your mind, determined surrendering to this Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, that is what is called refuge, taking refuge. Sarana means like taking refuge. So in that way, one should understand the importance of the right views embedded or ingrained in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And then one should take refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So that is the point I want to highlight in all the Dhamma talks, so that it should reinforce in your minds. At the same time, one should not be this is all like blind belief. What is this nonsense, taking refuge and all that kind of blindness also should not arise in your mind. That is one kind of blindness. The other kind of blindness is simply blindly taking, okay, I take refuge in Buddha because my master said or somebody said. That is one more blindness. You should have come out of these extremes, which are blindness only. Avoid this blindness of but somebody said I should take refuge, and avoid again the other blindness. That is, oh, what is this taking refuge? It's all unscientific. It's all not pragmatic. It's not pragmatic. So that is one another kind of extreme. So one should come out of these extremes. So one should understand the power or the spirit of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Please understand, the spirit of Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is right view. Mind-centeredness, non-extremeness, moderation in everything, mind-centered approach. So morality, mindfulness, all these things are the components of right view only. So this kind of right view you develop when you take refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, because this path of liberating the mind, it has to have this right view as the basis, right view as the foundation. If you don't have right view as the foundation, then you can't understand the mind, then you can't purify the mind, you can't liberate the mind. So if you are in this path, then definitely you will establish in this right view. That is the idea of emphasizing on faith also, right faith also in all our discourses for some 5-10 minutes at the beginning of the program. I emphasize on the right faith because it will also give a lot of clarity. It will also give a lot of understanding. And based on that understanding, our minds will reinforce in this right view. So with that idea, we have chanted this Mahajayamangala Gatha. Now we take up this Brahmajala Sutta. This Brahma's net. So this all wrong views. Brahma, either here it has two meanings. In two ways we can interpret. Brahma means the biggest set of wrong views, the ultimate, the absolute, the different, so many kinds of wrong views. That's why it's called Brahmajala. And the second thing is like that time Brahma, he was considered as the creator God. So all around that creator God, all around that only a lot of wrong views were there. Again, to emphasize that all those views around Brahma, ultimate creator God, that is also wrong. To emphasize that this sutra is named as Brahmajala Sutra, Brahma's net, discourse on Brahma's net. And they're intrigued, they're interconnected, most of the wrong views. So once we understand the different kinds of wrong views, then we can keep them away. Then we can start understanding the opposite of it, the right views. Just like I used to give the example last time when we started this Brahmajala Sutta. So the Four Noble Truths, suffering and the cause of suffering, happiness and the cause of happiness. If we understand suffering and cause of suffering, then we will be very clear. So we should avoid this. When we understand happiness and cause of happiness, then we'll be very clear to cultivate this. The same thing here. If you understand Brahmajala Sutta, then we'll understand what are wrong views, how they arise in the mind, and how to avoid it. We'll get that confirmation, we'll get that clarity that we should avoid it. In the same way, we are learning right views also. So that comparison in the mind, that discretion in the mind, the differentiation in the mind becomes very clear. If you understand both the sides of the coin, suffering and happiness we understood through Four Noble Truths. The same way, right view and wrong view also, if we understand, then we'll get the picture of both the sides. Then the clarity will increase. Then the wisdom will increase. So that is the idea behind which I have started this Brahmajala Sutta. So last time we have seen the background of this Brahmajala Sutta. One master and his favorite disciple, they were discussing about Buddha. One was, the master was opposing Buddha, the disciple was praising Buddha. And of course, there were so many other disciples also. So Buddha also, he was in the same guest house, in the same say rest house when they were traveling. So Buddha and the bhikkhus, they could listen to their discussion, and the bhikkhus, they were discussing in the morning. So you see the master from the other sect, the master and the disciple, the master and both of them, they were very close, very, very close, the master and the disciple. But they have different views about Buddha. That they were discussing, and Buddha, he just entered the assembly hall and asked what they were discussing, and they said about these two in the other group where the master and the chief disciple, what they were discussing is completely opposite about you, about our Sangha, about our Dhamma. Then Buddha said, that's how the world is. But what you should do, you should neither, if somebody prizes you, you should neither say excited. If somebody teases you, you should not be disappointed. If somebody prizes, and we should say, you should prove it, why they are pricing and how it is relevant, how it is correct, that you should prove it. At the same time, if somebody teases, somebody blames you, again, you should correctly analyze and critically you should analyze and you should disprove it. How their blame is not, say, it doesn't contain any stuff. There is no meaning in their blame. That you should correctly disprove it. There is no need to emotionally get excited, emotionally get, say, disappointed. With awareness, with analysis, you should prove it and disprove it. That's what Buddha says. And then he says, first you highlight the morality, because morality can be easily connected with all the sects, with all the religions, because all religions in some way or other way, they encourage morality because it will protect them, it will protect the people around them, it will protect the whole world rather. So how we are superior in morality, how we are so clear in practicing morality, that you can prove. And then you should know about the wrong views also. Then you can prove how their view is one of these wrong views. So in that way, Buddha gives the 62 wrong views. She started explaining 62 wrong views to the bhikkhus, the Sangha, so that the Sangha should be very clear about the wrong views, so that anybody with wrong views who tries to argue with the Sangha, argue with the monks, then when they have that complete picture, the wide canvas, starting from the first wrong view to the 62nd wrong view, then disproving those wrong views becomes easy. So to give that overall picture about wrong views, Buddha has to give this Brahmajala Sutta, the discourse on Brahma's net. Okay. So what is the first group of wrong views? The first group of wrong views is people who know about the past through meditation, through concentration, who can see their past lives. They develop 18 kinds of wrong views. They develop 18 kinds of wrong views. So it's called the views that are developed by the people who could see the previous lives. Speculations about the past. Pubbanta Kappika. It's called Pubbanta Kappika. So by see, Pubba matlab previous. Kappika means the period, previous periods, if you start seeing, and based on that you develop wrong views, and you promote those same wrong views to ordinary people also, general public also. That's why many masters, they see previous lives, but in an imperfect way, not in an authoritative way. They see their previous lives in an imperfect, not in a very authoritative way. They see their previous lives, and they conclude so many kinds of wrong views. Though partially they are right, they could see their previous lives. They could see so many, say, kalpas also, so many eons they can see. They can go and see thousands, millions of previous lives, but they conclude in an imperfect way, because that is also not suitable. That is also not enough to come to the right view. Only the Buddhas can see the entire canvas, the entire range of the time, because many other people, many other meditators, those who could not see the entire range of time, they could see to some extent, and they deduce or they conclude so many 18 kinds of wrong views by seeing the past life. So what are these 18 kinds? The first set in that 18 kinds of wrong views based on seeing the previous lives. The first group, of course, last time also I explained this. It's called Sasata Vada. Sasata means Shashvata. Shashvata means like permanent, eternal. By seeing the previous lives, you are there in so many previous lives, then you think that you are permanent. or in so many lives this world was there, so this world was there. Then they think the whole world is also permanent. In that way, they conclude these eternal views. Based on this only, the Creator God, so many other things also, they conclude. Many people, many of these meditators, those who really don't understand Buddha's, the entire picture of the time, they see some previous lives and they conclude that, oh, I was there in previously also, I was. So then they start concluding about some eternal views. All the eternalistic views are also wrong views. The first four views, eternalistic views or eternalism or Shashvatavada, the first four views that we have seen last time, he sees the previous lives and then he decides, he sees thousands, hundreds of previous lives. And then I had such a name, belonged to such a clan, that was my lifespan. Passing away, I re-arose there. There too I had such a name. So all these things he remembers. He recollects his numerous past lives in their modes and in the details also he remembers. Then what he thinks, the self and the world are eternal. I am also eternal and this world is also eternal. That way he concludes. Then this idea of Atma, Paramatma, all these things will arise. So that is a wrong view. In that way, Buddha is listing this first set of wrong views, which come under this eternalism. So eternalistic views. So I am permanent. My soul is permanent. My Atma is permanent. So that idea of Atma comes. Idea of permanent soul comes. In the same way, the world is also permanent. So then idea of Paramatma comes. So this Atma Paramatma ideas come, not because, of course, even the wise people, they conclude Atma Paramatma thing because they see their previous lives, so many hundreds, thousands, and also the world they see it's also permanent. Then naturally they conclude it as permanent, and they call it as, of course, as Atma or Paramatma. And then a certain recluse or Brahmin, by means of order, endeavor, application, diligence, and right reflection, attains to such a degree of mental concentration that with his mind, with his concentrated mind, he could see a lot of previous lives. And also, he could see the world contraction and world expansion. As I was telling you last time also, it's called one eon. One eon means like the time taken for the world to arise, and then it grows, it develops, all the beings will arise, different kinds of beings. Then it perishes, it will be completely destroyed. And again, the new world starts. So that complete circle, the destruction of the old world and the creation of the new world, that complete circle is called Kalpa or Kappa, or in English it's called eon. So some meditators, they could see the previous eons also, not just previous lives. They could see the previous eons also. I think you are getting it. So the previous eons also they could see. It's a very, very long time. One eon itself is a long time. In one eon itself, a person will go through millions of rebirths. But if a person could see the previous eons also, then you can just imagine his concentration ability. And such people also, they deduce, they say, even this whole world is also, it arises and perishes. So this is permanent. That kind of permanent views will come in the mind. The soul is also permanent. The world is also permanent. So that kind of views will come. So in the same way, some people will listen from their teachers like this, and they keep this view in their mind. And general public, they listen from the masters and they keep this view. So in that way, these eternalistic views will arise. In that way, Buddha explains. Then the second set of wrong views is partial eternalism. So it's not like everything is completely permanent. No, a few things are permanent, a few things are not permanent. So that kind of views, four views are there. So what are those four views which are partial eternalism? Ekacha Sasatavada. Ekacha means partial. Partially, Sasatavada means like eternalism. A few things in this existence are permanent, a few things are not permanent. That kind of views some people keep. So what are those views? We will see. There are bhikkhus, some recluses and Brahmins who are eternalists in regard to some things and non-eternalists in regard to other things, and who on four grounds proclaim the self and the world to be partly eternal and partly non-eternal. And owing to what, with reference to what, do these honorable recluses and Brahmins proclaim their views? There comes a time, because when after the lapse of a long period, this world contracts. While the world is contracting, beings for the most part are reborn in the Abhasara, Brahma world. There they dwell, mind-made, feeding on rapture, self-luminous, moving through the air, abiding in glory. And they continue thus for a long, long period of time. When the world contracts, when this world is actually being destroyed during the time when it is contract means like, yeah, of course, just like this Big Bang theory, the same thing actually, Buddhist cosmology also, they talk about Big Bang, the whole universe, the whole world. It starts expanding, and then after some time, it starts contracting also. When it starts contracting, what happens? This our Earth, let us say, the whole universe contracts. The Earth also contracts and it starts, say, degeneration, destruction. It leads to destruction. During that time, many beings here, they die and they take rebirth in one divine plane called Abhasara Brahma plane. Some of you, I think, many of you, know about the Buddhist cosmology. In level 3, I think I introduced Buddhist cosmology. The background of Buddhist cosmology is very, very important, very, very essential to understand these different wrong views also. Because many of the wrong views, especially 18 wrong views, are based on this seeing the previous lives, seeing the previous worlds, previous universes. Though they are very good, very great meditators, by seeing the previous universes, previous worlds, previous lives, they deduce so many kinds of wrong views. Here, the wrong view is like when the universe is contracting, many beings in this earth, they take rebirth in one plane called Abhasara plane. But sooner or later, after the lapse of a long period, there comes a time when this world begins to expand once again. So after contraction, like in Big Bang theory, the scientists say the same thing. It was told by Buddha long back. So when the expansion starts, during that time, what happens? Other planes, other Brahma planes also start appearing. Other divine planes also start appearing. Then a certain being, due to exhaustion of his lifespan or the exhaustion of his merit, passes away from this Abhasara plane. As I was telling you, Abhasara is the plane where many beings take rebirth. From that plane, he re-arises in the other planes, other Brahmic planes. There he dwells, mind-made, feeding on rapture, self-luminous, moving through the air, abiding in glory. And he continues thus for a long, long period of time. As a result of dwelling there all alone for so long a time, there arises in him dissatisfaction and agitation. Oh, that other beings might come to his place just at that moment due to the exhaustion of their lifespan or the exhaustion of their merit. Certain other beings also pass away from the Abhasara plane and re-arise in the other Brahma planes in companionship with this being, with this person, with this being. There they dwell, mind-made, feeding on rapture, self-luminous, moving through the air, abiding in glory. And they continue thus for a long, long period of time. Thereupon, the being who arose there first thinks to himself, I am Brahma, the great Brahma, the vanquisher, the unvanquished, the universal seer, the wielder of power, the Lord, the maker and creator, the supreme being, the ordiner, the almighty, the father of all that are and are to be, And these beings have been created by me, because when he thought that some other person should come to this plane, some other being should come to this plane. So what happened? Because of the exhaustion of their punya or their karma from Abhasara, one person, one being came to this plane where this first being is there. Then this first being will start thinking, oh, whatever I think, it will happen. Some beings should come to this plane to become my companions. Then some beings will come. So that kind of wrong view will be developed in this being's mind, because he never knew that this is the kamma scale, kamma ka khel hai. This is the say game of kamma. He thinks that I thought, that's why these beings are becoming my companions. They're coming to this plane. It is not because of his exhaustion, of his punya, of his merits, exhausted. That's why they are arising here. That idea he will not get. Because I thought, that's why they are arising here. Please understand this. This is beautiful. Very, very interesting. Based on this, so many things. Kuda ka khel, sabhi kuda ka khel. That way some people think. But a kuda ka khel nahi hai. Ye to kamma ka khel hai. And pure kamma is there, merits are there, then you go to higher levels. When merits are gone, instead of pure actions, pure kamma, impure kamma is there, then you will fall down. ये तो kamma का खेल है, खुदा का खेल है. Krishna Leela, in that way they say, Krishna consciousness or universal consciousness, something like that. This is not Krishna Leela, this is Klesha Leela. Klesha means our defilements. So the different defilements in our mind, they are playing. They are taking us to higher levels, lower levels. It is neither the Almighty Krishna or Almighty Allah. No. It is our own kleshas, our own defilements, our own kammas. They are taking us to higher levels and to the lower levels. This understanding is very important. Then we will not fall into the trap of this creator God or the religions based on these creator gods. They simply they will take us to wrong views. We end up in wrong views. So this kind of clarity you should have. It's all kamma ka khel hai, klesha ka lila hai ye. All these things are klesha, defilements, because of our mental defilements. This movement is there in this cosmology. We go up and down in this cosmology. It's not because of some creator punishing you, some creator say rewarding you. No, it's your own karma, it's your own defilements, it's your own purity of mind that rewards you. Your defilements, purity of your defilements of your mind, they punish you. So this clarity, if we get, then we will not fall into the trap of the wrong views. So in that way, this being will think, oh, because whatever I think, it's happening. Oh, I am Brahma. I am, so I have all the power. In that way, he will start thinking. Because we see that he was here first and we appeared here after him. And the other beings, what they think. Okay, now I'll read this, then it will become very clear. Because first I made the wish, oh, that other beings might come to this place. And after I made this resolution, now these beings have come. In that way, this first person, first being who is in the other Brahma plane who arose, he thinks that, so whatever I wish, some other beings should come here. So automatically it happened. They came here in that way. He thinks that he is Brahma. And the beings who arose there after him also think, not only he, the other beings who arose in that plane, they also think this must be Brahma. So this being, he was here before us. So he must be Brahma, the great Brahma, the vanquisher, the unvanquished, the universal seer, the wielder of power, the Lord, the maker and the creator and supreme being, the ordainer, the almighty, the father of all that are and are to be. And we have been created by him. So because he wished, so we came. So he created us. In that way, the other beings also will start thinking. What is the reason? Because we see that he was here first. So he was here before we came. So because he was the first being, then he should be the creator. In that way, they also start thinking. And we appeared here after him. So he should be the creator. In that way, other beings also, they start thinking. Here in Bhikkhus, the being who re-arose there first possesses longer life, greater beauty, and greater authority than the beings who re-arose there after him. Now, this is a Mahabrahma plane. It's a superior plane. There he has greater, he has a longer life and greater beauty. Everything is there. So generally, the other beings also will think, yes, he must be the creator. And he also thinks that he is the creator. So this comes to pass that a certain being, after passing away from that plane, takes rebirth in this world. Having come to this world, he goes forth by means of order, endeavor, application, diligence, and right reflection. He attains to such a degree of mental concentration that with his mind thus concentrated, he recollects his immediately preceding life, but none previous to that. He speaks thus: we were created by him, by Brahma, the great Brahma, the vanquisher, the unvanquished, the father of all that are and are to be. He is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and he will remain the same, just like eternity itself. But who have been created by him and have come to this world are impermanent, unstable, short-lived, doomed to perish. See, this is the understanding I wanted you to have. So here, this is called Ekaccha Sasatavada. Ekaccha means partial eternalism. A few things are permanent, a few things are not permanent. Brahma is permanent because of his so let us say one being, he falls down from that Brahma plane and he becomes a human being. And because of his diligence, he starts meditating. So when he starts meditating, what happens? He could remember his previous life. In the previous life where he was in the Mahabrahma plane. There he remembers the Mahabrahma. So here I have fallen. My life is impermanent. I am going through higher life to lower life, lower life to lower life to higher life. But that Mahabrahma is permanent. Because he thought so, I arose there. Now because he thinks he wanted to punish me, so I came here to this human world. So in that way, he starts thinking that a few things like Brahma are permanent. The other things like me and other beings in this world, they are not permanent. So that kind of views, such beings will start develop in their mind, who could see only one previous life where they were with the Mahabrahma. Such beings can develop this kind of wrong view that Mahabrahma is permanent and other beings are not permanent. And that kind of wrong view is called Ekaccha Sasatavada, partial eternalism. So, of course, a few more things are there, but it will become, say, too much maybe in the same session. If we cover those things, it will become too much. Now you have understood about the eternalism, the Sasvatavada. Sasvatavada means like they see in the previous life, so many previous lives they see. Everything they remains, the world remains the same. The Atma, or one thing that sees the previous life, they think it is Atma, it also remains the same. Not just the previous lives, even the previous kalpas also some people see, and they conclude that everything is permanent. That is Shasvatavada. And Ekaccha Shasvatavada, partial eternalism means like the beings, in this case especially, those who are with Mahabrahma in their previous life, and those who thought that this Mahabrahma, because he thought we arose, because again they developed some defilements in their mind. They fell down to the human world. But by practicing meditation, they could see their previous life, that they were with Mahabrahma. Such beings will conclude, will deduce that Mahabrahmas are permanent, but we are not permanent. So then they develop this Ekaccha Sasvatavada, partial eternalism. Mahabrahma is permanent, we are impermanent. Mahabrahma is eternal, we are not eternal. That is that kind of partial eternalistic views are also wrong views, and eternalistic views also wrong views. So that is about the different types of wrong views. So today we have seen these eternalistic views and then these partial eternalistic views. It's all because of imperfect observation, imperfectly, and we don't know the complete stretch of the canvas, the wide, say, canvas. If you don't know, if you know a bit of it, then you create your own wrong view. Just like this person who could see only one previous life when he was with the Mahabrahma, he could create this Ekacha Sasvatavada, partial eternalism. And the other beings who could see so many previous lives. So it was almost same the whole world. And their Atma, the one who is seeing, they think it is permanent. They develop Shashvatavada. And so many eons also some people see, some beings see. Then they think that the whole world is also, the whole universe is also, it is not changing. In that way they think. And such beings who could see so many previous lives, so many kalpas also, such beings, they develop different kinds of eternalistic views. And those who could see only one previous life, that too when they were with Mahabrahma, such beings, they develop Ekacha Sasvatavada, partial eternalistic views. So that is about two kinds of wrong views. So both these things one should not keep in the mind. One should, as I was telling you, it's neither Atma that is going from one body to other body. It is our defilements that are pushing us to take one body after the other body. It is not the Krishna Lila, it is not the Lila of the universal creator, it is the Lila of our own klesha, our own defilements. And at the same time, Kuda, something they say, no, the universal creator. Kuda ka khel nahi hai, Kamma ka khel hai. This is the game of the Kamma. Of course, Kamma is based on our purity or our defilements. Higher the purity, more the merits, better Kamma, then superior life. If purity is less, defilements are more, your Kamma becomes a defiled Kamma, then inferior life, then more suffering and inferior life. You end up in such kind of planes, such kind of lives. So in that way, knowing our defilements, knowing our purity, working on them. So for that, we should give up this kind of wrong views. That is the point here. Okay, so with that, I think we will conclude. If you have some questions, you can ask.
Vandame Banteji. Banteji, Brahma plane beings, do they attain liberation, Banteji?
Possible. So by listening to the very first discourse given by Buddha, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, it is mentioned in the scriptures, 18 crore Brahmas, they get liberated. That way, as I was telling you, some divine beings, those who have the right view, those who could understand the Dhamma correctly, based on this right view, they get liberation. In the same way, Brahma beings also, divine beings, Brahma beings, just like in the human world. In the human world, those who understand right view, they get liberation, and many they don't understand, so they're stuck in this world only. Divine world, of course, they have some superior brain, superior intelligence. The chances are more, and if they come across Buddhas and this teaching of Dhamma and right view, these things, if they come across, then many of them, they get liberated. But when Buddhas arise, many divine beings, many Brahma beings, they will be ready actually to listen to Buddha and learning Dhamma. Then they get liberation.
Vandami Bhante ji.
Any other thing? Just like these eternalistic, partial eternalistic views, the opposite, only body. So those views also will come. They are also wrong views. And as I was telling you in the last session about this Brahmajala Sutta, the people, they think, so many people, great wise people also, the four components of the mind, one of them is permanent. Some beings will consider, some people will consider the consciousness as permanent. In the four ways, actually, they consider it as permanent. And then the perception, they consider it as permanent in the four ways. And the reaction, they consider it as permanent in four ways. And then the feelings also they consider as permanent in four ways. The body also they consider as permanent in four ways. There are also eternalistic views. There are also different wrong views. So many of you, all of you, I think, you know these four components of mind, and body as one more component. So all these five components also, none of them are permanent. All of them are changing. So if you consider any one of them, then as permanent, then it will become a wrong view. So these five things, how they arise, how they perish, that understanding also one should get. Of course, in meditation, you will definitely get it. Body also, how the sensations keep on changing in the body. And then the thoughts, how they keep on changing, how the consciousness also, sometimes we are aware, sometimes we are not aware. Sometimes we are very, very aware, sometimes we are aware. The very awareness also keeps changing. Our perceptions also keeps changing. Our reactions, our willpower also keeps changing. None of them are permanent. So if you consider any one of them as permanent, then it will become a wrong view. So in that way, understanding the knowledge of the four components of the mind, knowledge of this body, the four elements of the body, that will also give us a lot of understanding about the right views. What is permanent, what is not permanent, that clarity we will get. So those who are in this path of knowing these four components of the mind and four elements of the body, that's what we are learning in this level 1, level 2, level 3. And we will definitely come out of a lot of wrong views. Yeah, Vikas Patil. Yeah, you can ask your question, Vikas Patil. No, some audio problem. You have to unmute.
Vandami Bhante ji.
Yes, Amma.
Bhante ji, there are diseases of the body and diseases of the mind. There's a disease called Alzheimer's, Bhante ji, where people tend to forget through aging and everything. And there are some, they have hallucinations and delusion, something, Bhanteji. So I just want to know what is the best thing we can do to.
For them.
Yes, Bhanteji. Yes, Bhanteji.
Actually, we should go for this integrated approach, even for such people who are having some issues with the mind, because we don't know. We don't know that which one will click. Say, to increase their faith level, we should say this chanting, because that very chanting, it may give some kind of soothing, some kind of calmness, and they slowly they can start opening up their mind towards the meaning of the chanting and all. Even in this case also, in this Alzheimer's disease, no. So in such cases also it's possible, because a part of their awareness, part of their intelligence will be definitely working. And then these different meditations, definitely one of them or some of them will definitely click for them also. Or encouraging such people to read and to read the right the right ideas or the right concepts of right view. That way also we can encourage them. So encouraging such people to meditate, to read, to practice meritorious actions. Yeah, that is also one more thing. Okay. One can encourage them to practice meritorious actions, the 10 meritorious actions. Encourage them to chant, listen to the chanting. All these things. I can't say that this will click or this will not click. A few things may click, a few things may not click. But a person who is really concerned about such people, he should take up this integrated approach to help them. Yeah.
Vandami Bhanteji.
Swastik Patel.
Vandami Bhanteji.
Sir, Sukhiyantu.
Bhanteji, if karma has a play a role in the future life, then what is the role of law of attraction? Whether it is a combined effort or a different approach?
Law of attraction is also a part of law of cause and effect, law of karma. Because you too have the same defilement, let us say, and the other person is also have the same defilement. Then having that same, let us say, desire, let us say. So the same desire is a possibility of two people coming together, because the defilement is same. So that kind of same defilement, especially the defilement of, say, desire. There are other defilements also, like hatred, like delusion. But the defilement of desire, defilement of greed, and defilement of attachment. So that is actually the law of attraction. Because of what is that? That is the meaning of actually law of attraction. If two things, two individuals, two beings having the same defilement of same desire, same defilement of attachment, then coming together is possible. Not only the individuals, even the mind has some attachment towards some place or some region, some location, even some object. That based on the punya also. See, if you want to get something, you should have that desire. That is one thing, and also you should have the punya. You should have that ability also. Punya here means ability. So if you have that ability and if you have that desire, then that will take you to what you want to have or what you are looking for. That way, law of attraction is a part of law of karma. There are actually 12 aspects in law of karma. One of them is this law of attraction. Law of attraction is also, attraction means like say that the desire. The desire is also karma, no? So if you develop that karma based on desire, then if you have that ability to fulfill that, then automatically you will get it. In that way, law of karma encompasses law of attraction also.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay. Sadhu. Okay, so if you don't have questions, we'll conclude. Or if you have some questions. Keshav Kamble, Praveen Tayade, Shivganga. Okay, Sadhu. Now, if you don't have questions, we'll conclude with some small chanting. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata. Sabba buddhanubhavena, sabba dhammanubhavena, sabba sanghanubhavena. Sada soti bhavantu te. Sukhi bhave yanni dukko ahang nicca ahang viya idacha me sukhi hontu marjatta chatavedino imam higammante dhamme satta hontu sukhi sada tato parancha rajjesu chakkavale sujantano. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu, sukhi hontu. Sadhu, sukhi hontu.
So much, Bante ji.
Vandami Bante ji.
Vandami Bante ji.
Sadhu,
Thank you.
sadhu, sukhi hontu.